Now, joining us today to discuss the latest developments on the Chinese economy is Tamara Berro, a researcher in Chinese studies. Welcome to the Qnews Economic Bulletin. Let's start with this question. The Chinese government is reportedly planning to raise an additional 6 trillion yuan through special treasury bonds. How effective do you think this measure will be in addressing the economic slowdown?
Good evening. Welcome to your audience. It seems that the Chinese government took a serious decision to enhance its economy this year. In March, during the National Conference for the Parliament of China, economy was a major topic of discussion between the parliament members, and all of them agreed that the Chinese economy facing lots of difficulties and they need to work on enhancing the growth of the economy. Last month also, there was a meeting Central Committee of China Party under the chairmanship of the Chinese president. All of them agreed to enhance the Chinese economy. It seems that the Chinese president himself is working on improving the Chinese economy. The government also of China have endorsed a set of measures to enhance this economy. The latest one was announced by the Ministry of Finance, which is issuing $423 billion from the treasury bonds to support the economy and other incentives that may increase the expenses and local consumption. Also, the real estate or property sector that suffered from many crises over the past few years. We know that the property sector formed almost 30% of the total GDP. But due to the closure and the decrease in the performance of the economy of China and the increase of debt, the purchase of apartments fall down. So the property market in China faced a great crisis. The Chinese government is working on fixing the issue of the property market, and it took several measures in this regard. To support this market, for example, they canceled some restrictions on buying the property. They also decreased the first installment for buying a real estate. The Chinese government also provided liquidity for banks in addition to decreasing the interest rates while supporting the people with low income in order to support the consumption and increase it, and to fix the issue of Chinese economy suffers from internal and external challenges. As for the challenges at the internal level, it's represented in the property crisis and the decrease of consumption expenses. At the external level, China suffers from other foreign challenges represented in restrictions and the increase of tax of custom rate imposed by some countries, especially the United States of America. As I mentioned, it seems that the Chinese government is working on promoting its economy growth because it understands how the economy affects it at the internal and external level, and how it also affects the economy of other countries.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cut in there because I was wanting to ask you, Tamara Berro, given China's significant role in the global economy, do you see this slowdown affecting global trade, perhaps in those industries who are heavily dependent on China's exports?
China is the second largest economy worldwide. It's the largest economic partner for most of the countries worldwide. Hence, any decrease or slowdown in the economic growth of China will adversely be affected on the countries dealing with China. These countries started to deal with the repercussions of COVID crisis and the Ukrainian-Russian war. Thus, any slowdown in the growth of the economy of China will affect the economy of other countries, especially the Eastern Asia countries that mainly depend on the Chinese economy. That's why China is working on promoting the economic growth. And this will in turn affect the economy worldwide, in particularly that the economy witnessed a decrease because of COVID and the Ukrainian-Russian war, in addition to the conflicts in Middle East. The slowdown of the economy will be further increased if the conflict in the Middle East is expanded and affected the ports, the maritime ports, and affects the supply chain. That's why it's necessary for China to enhance its economy and enhance the economy of other countries surrounding it in order to avoid a world crisis that happened similar to what happened in 2008.
And despite the announcement of potential stimulus, investor sentiment in China's stock market remains cautious, I think we would say. What do you think is behind this hesitation, and what might change the investors' outlook?
The Chinese government is working hard to promote its economic growth. I believe that the external repercussions play a major role here in pushing the Chinese government to promote its economy. Also, the Chinese imports decreased last month. The growth rate of imports was 2.4%, which is very low to the Chinese exports. I'm sorry, its exports comparing to previous years. There's a concern for the investors inside China and outside China because they are afraid to invest inside it because of the weak economic growth and because of the commercial war with the United States of America. And the commercial war in the future will be also with the European Union if the disagreement between the European Union and China is not dissolved.
Well, we're talking of disagreements there, just a second. How do you see the ongoing tensions in the Taiwan Strait affecting global trade, especially in those key industries like semiconductors? And what might be the broader economic impact if this situation continues to escalate?
Generally, Taiwan is a cradle of electronic chips. It has the most important company in the world, which is the electronic chips, the TSMC. That's why China is working hard and striving, even the United States of America, that provokes China through Taiwan card. I don't believe that it will make China invade or attack Taiwan to restore it at the military level. This can only happen if the people who support the separation in Taiwan announce the independence of the island. If China military attacks Taiwan, this will have a great effect on the industry of electronic chips. It will also affect the Taiwan Canal and the chips that goes through it. We also saw losses of billions of dollars.
Okay.
If China invades Taiwan, that's why the United States of America is working on establishing electronic chips factories on its territories.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for, unfortunately, we're just a bit out of time, but thank you, Tamara Berro, a researcher in Chinese studies. Thank you very much for joining us on our economic bulletin.